The FBI has announced the capture of a member of its most wanted list, Yaser Abdel Said, accused of shooting and killing his two daughters, is in custody. We have news and a press conference coming up next. The FBI's most wanted list is one name short today, Yaser Abdel Said. Member of the list since 2014, has been apprehended in North Texas. WFAA in Dallas reports on the apprehension, and their story reads, a man on the FBI's most wanted list for slaying his two daughters in honor killings outside an Irving hotel in 2008 has been captured, the FBI and Irving Police Department announced Wednesday evening. Yaser Abdel Said is accused of shooting and killing his two daughters, 18-year-old Amina and 17-year-old Sarah. Investigators believe he was taking them to dinner when he shot them in the back of a taxi cab outside the Omni Hotel in Irving. The story goes on to say that Said was taken into custody without incident by FBI SWAT in Justin, Texas. This man brutally murdered, shot to death his two daughters in his taxi cab, Irving Police Chief Jeff Spivey said. We have tirelessly followed every lead, never losing hope that we would one day locate and arrest Yaser Said. The FBI said they also arrested two relatives of Said in Euless, Texas for harboring a fugitive. And again, quoting the special agent, we do expect that there were others who provided aid and comfort to this fugitive for a long period of time. The FBI classified the shootings as honor killings. In the recorded 911 call, one of the girls is heard saying her father shot her. Police believe Said was angry they were dating boys who were non-Muslim and killed them. It was a high-profile case at the time. One of the other aspects that was rather chilling about this were the videos that were captured of Yaser stalking his daughter Sarah at work. And quoting him, she smiled at the customer, he says to his daughter Amina, and Amina replies, Baba, she has to do that, it's part of her job. And then he retorts, she's still in trouble. Problems with their father went back years. When they were younger, the girls told police he was sexually abusing them. And in one of the videos, he gawks at the girls as he rolls the camera and zooms in on their bodies. It's really a disturbing case when you look at all of the information that's been presented by the FBI as well as the Irving Police Department. And this man now is in custody after spending several years on the FBI's most wanted list. Let's hear from the FBI and the Irving Police Department.
Good evening. My name is Officer Robert Reeves. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Irving Police Department. Tonight we're here to announce the capture of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive, Yaser Said, who murdered his two daughters in January of 2008. Irving Police Chief Jeff Spivey will speak, followed by representatives from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. If everybody can save their questions until after all have spoken, we'll make sure that everybody gets those answered.
Thank you and good evening. January 1st of 2008, Irving Police dispatchers received a 911 call from a female at an unknown location who was in obvious distress. After approximately 1 hour of trying to locate this 911 caller, we received an additional 911 call reporting two females bleeding inside a taxi cab in the 200 block of East Los Colinas Boulevard. This was the beginning of the murder investigation of Amina and Sarah Said. Our investigation quickly led for us to suspect that their father, Yaser Abdel Said, was the person responsible for their brutal murder. For the past 12 years, we have tirelessly followed every lead, never losing faith or hope that we would one day locate and arrest Yaser Said. Through retirements, promotions, transfers, dead ends, starts and stops, the Irving Police Department never gave up. Tonight, I stand before you to announce all of that hard work paid off. Our partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Dallas Field Office, provided us a level of support that would be unmatched across the country. They were the key to us being able to arrest Yaser Said for the murder of his two daughters. I want to express my appreciation to Special Agent in Charge Matt DeSarno and his team. This is a good day for law enforcement. This is one of the days that make this difficult job really pay off. Matt?
Thanks, Jeff. Good evening. My name is Matt DeSarno. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of FBI Dallas. Just a couple hours ago, the FBI SWAT team arrested Yaser Abdel Said in Justin, Texas without incident. This arrest, as Chief Spivey has said, is a great day for law enforcement. The Dallas Violent Crime Task Force and the Irving Police have tirelessly, aggressively, and without pause followed every lead across the globe looking for this top 10 most wanted fugitive. I can't overstate how proud I am of the work of the investigators. This case was solved by good old-fashioned, aggressive, initiative-based police work. We had an agent who was originally on this case postpone their retirement for multiple years in an effort to find Said. For her and many others, today is a good day. But most importantly, what drove those investigators from the Irving Police Department, from the FBI task force that includes other local police departments, to continue to look under every rock and chase every lead was to get justice for Amina and Sarah. Along with this operation, we've arrested 2 relatives of Said. They're going to be charged with harboring in the Northern District of Texas. We are still seeking information from the public of others who may have provided aid and comfort to Said over the last 12 years. We had a $100,000 reward on Said. He was on the top 10 list since December of 2014. So we do expect that there are others who provided aid and comfort to this fugitive for a long period of time. So that's our ask to the public. But again, I want to leave you with this. I am immensely proud of the work of the Violent Crimes Task Force and the Irving Police Department. This is not uncommon. My folks and Jeff's folks work very hard every day to get justice for victims and protect the public. And today we did just that. So I think we'll take a couple questions.
I got one. You say he was found in Justin, Texas. That's not too far from here, I don't believe, is it?
That is not far from here, correct.
Where has he been? Has he been in the DFW area all this time?
So part of the ongoing investigation is to try to determine that. We have chased leads throughout the country. We've worked with other local departments following leads, and we have followed leads internationally to include in Egypt. So we have had information throughout this investigation that he's been in multiple places. We don't know right now how long he was in Justin, but we do know that he's not there anymore.
Was there any other cities in the DFW area that you think he was in and he left and he was on?
We're continuing to try to get to the bottom of that. But our most significant priority now, though, is the prosecution of the capital murder of his daughters. But in that process, obviously, it's of significant interest to us as to where he was at what times, because that could help us also look for other folks who may be able to be charged with harboring this fugitive.
You've constantly gotten tips about this case. What was it that led you to Justin and the capture in the end?
So thanks for that question. So the FBI's top 10 most wanted list just celebrated its 70th birthday in March. The whole purpose behind that is to drive public awareness, to bring tips from the public. About half of the people captured on that list, or maybe a third of the people we've captured over the 70 years on that list, have been a direct result of public assistance. In this instance, we did not receive a tip to that location, but we are still seeking the assistance of the public. What led us there was good old-fashioned aggressive police work, re-looking at every possible angle of the case and working it day and night until we found him.
You said he was found in Justin and that 2 relatives were also arrested. Was that the home of those relatives, or are they connected to some previous location?
We arrested the relatives at a separate location in Euless, Texas tonight.
Can you talk about that network of his family members? Exactly how were they able to keep his location a secret over the past 12 years? that network in general? of family
Yeah, I mean,
members?
that is specifically part of our ongoing investigation. We're certainly interested in that, and we're interested in that because we'd like to hold more people accountable for that. But right now, I'm not prepared to speak about that.
Have you ever established a motive? Looking at our notes from back when this was initially covered, we heard the phrase honor killing, that maybe his daughters had, in his eyes, became too Americanized. Can you talk a little bit more about if there is a motive that you've narrowed down?
I don't know how you can use the term honor and killing in this instance. This man brutally murdered, shot to death, his two daughters in his taxi cab. What led him to do that, I think at this point to us is irrelevant. The fact that he murdered his two daughters, the fact that he's been on the run for 12 years, and the fact that tonight his flight from justice ended and justice for Amina and Sarah begins. That's what's most important to us.
Is he gonna be in federal custody, or is he gonna be in custody of the sheriff's department now that he's arrested? And will he face a bond?
So I won't address the bond. Right now, he is in federal custody. We had opened an unlawful flight to avoid prosecution case on him, charged him with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. So he will be arraigned on those charges, then moved to face the Irving-based state charges.
Can you tell us more about who the relatives were or what his relationship was?
So the relatives that we arrested today, and more will come out in the days ahead via complaint that you could pull. It's Islam Said, his son, and Yaser Said, his brother.
Do you have spellings of those names?
Islam, common, Said, S-A-I-D. Yasim, Y-A-S-S-I-M, I believe, Said.
Where are those two individuals being held at?
Those two individuals are in our custody right now. They're going to be charged in the Northern District of Texas.
So what was his demeanor when you guys, took him into custody? Was he relieved? Was he?
He was arrested without incident. On the scene, he didn't speak on the scene. Didn't really have anything to say, and he was compliant and quiet.
Can you say how you found out? Can you reveal how you had tips that he was in Justin? I mean, what led you to believe he was in Justin?
So I'm not going to go to the details of the investigation. I'll characterize it as it did not come from an outside tip. It was rigorous investigative work on the part of my investigators and Jeff's detectives.
Was that an area you guys maybe had your eyes on for quite some time and just weren't able to, narrow down exactly where he was at? Or I guess, when did you?
No, this investigation over the last 12 years, we've followed leads throughout the country, throughout this area, and across the globe.
You said you suspect that there's more people involved. Do you have any leads at this point in terms of who might have been harboring?
No, right now that's what we're looking for the public's additional assistance on. If they have any information about his whereabouts and who may have also been harboring him or providing aid and comfort to him over the last 12 years, we're certainly interested in getting that at the FBI.
Did you hear from any other family members? Once they found out he was arrested, any other family members who appreciated the work? Have you heard from anybody else, or just this a family that you got arrested?
We just arrested him 2 hours ago, and then came here, so I haven't heard from anybody yet.
Do you have the ages of his sons?
No, I don't know their age. It's a son and a brother. It's his brother and his son, but I'm not sure their age.
Did he physically still look the same, or was he obviously trying to hide his identity?
For the agents familiar with the case who have been working on the case, it was an easy positive ID by facial recognition with their own eyes. It clearly looked like him.
Some family friends have believed this whole time that, hey, he was always going to stay in DFW. He had this network of family members and friends that were keeping him. They're going to ask, I guess if he was always here, what took so long?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, and I think what's important from my perspective is that we don't know right now if he was always here. We have reason to believe that some of the information that we have chased in the past, both locally and elsewhere, was viable, and we missed him. But the reality is there was a $100,000 reward for information leading to his capture and we didn't, we did not, that did not lead to his capture. So if he's been in this area and for that long, then obviously nobody gave him up, right? But we have been working it for 12 years straight, aggressively, proactively, using innovative techniques, doing everything we can do, and today we found him, so we're happy about that.
I know it wasn't a tip that led to the arrest, but you guys have stayed after it. People have kept bringing in tips. I know,
Yep.
I'm sure everybody here has kept covering it. How much did keeping it in the limelight help at all during this investigation?
I think it helped a great deal. I mean, the tips that we did get that did not result in his capture, certainly some of them, progressed the investigation, helped us with some insight into some of the things that you asked about with regards to his possible whereabouts and some of the things about the potential network. So the tips are always welcome. We do get a lot of really good tips, and in this instance, again, we're looking for help with finding others who may have provided aid and comfort.
Do you know if he changed his name and got a different job?
So all that will be continuing part of our fugitive investigation. We have chased leads that include lots of different information. So we're going to be trying to work through that and identify where he's been and who's been helping him.
You guys will be releasing a mugshot anytime soon, and where will we be able to find it?
There will likely be a mugshot tomorrow. There's a press release. A couple press releases that have gone out this evening, and then the other information, the federal court information, should be Pacer tomorrow. Okay. In closing, I'd just like to say again, I'm really proud of the effort of my folks, and I know Jeff is too. The intense partnership that we've experienced through this case in the last 12 years has led us to many other law enforcement successes as a partnership between Irving and the FBI, and we continue this to be another. We consider this to be another really good day for us, and we're happy that we're able to bring some measure of justice to Amina and Sarah in this case. So thanks.
Okay, in closing, once again, this is a good day in law enforcement, like Chief Spivey said. If anybody has any follow-ups as far as the mugshots or the PC affidavits that will go to county court, then obviously you can email like the normal process, the policepio@cityofirving.org. Thank you all this evening. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching, everyone. That's all we have on this case right now, but I'm sure that we'll have more details soon. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below. It really helps us out. And until next time, stay safe and keep investigating.